Okay, let's talk about the 280 head unit. All right, first of all, this is the ballast float. The purpose of the ballast float is it pulls the tail up because this is light, it's full of air. It pulls the tail up, which pushes the nose down. If you ever see your cleaner riding wheelies like this ballast float may have gone bad. So you can just basically screw it off, shake it. If it has water in it, it's bad, needs to be replaced. These are readily available. You can pick them up at any Pool Works or other retail locations. When you replace these, you basically thread about, this is rule of thumb, thumb's width, right there is about where you need to be when you thread these back on. Now this is your tail. This is the difference between the Polaris 280 and the TR28P. TR28P comes with the Tail Sweep Pro. If you just got a 280 and it does not have the Tail Sweep Pro, I highly recommend that you get it. This diverts the flow. When the flow is coming out of here, it's one of the problems with pressure side cleaners, they have a tail, because the tail is important. It does the scrubbing action as the cleaner is going around. Well, without this, it creates a solid stream that will shoot 30, 40 feet. So when you put a Tail Sweep Pro on here, it kind of fans that out so you don't get a long jet and you actually get a pretty good whipping action. But you want to protect these with a tail scrubber. These are available again at any retail location, Pool Works or any other retail location. These protect this because these are expensive. The Tail Sweep Pro is about 28 bucks. These are cheap. You just replace these occasionally when they get wore out. You want to make sure that you keep a good tail scrubber on there. These are wear rings. These are protect the tail. Now these will wear out over time, and when they're gone, you will wear out the tail. So if these are wearing out and you're starting to get holes in your tail, you want to go ahead and replace the tail on your cleaner. What I like to do, by the way, on these wear rings, I'll take one off and I'll put it on my hose. And then my bag, I have this fitting that I like to use. This comes with the cleaner that clips over the hose, so I can Velcro to that instead of Velcroing around the hose, and I don't have to continually undo that Velcro, because you know how Velcro eventually stops doing its thing. Well, I can just go to this and just clip this on and off. But I'll take that wear ring off a tail and put it up, about, I don't know, what is that, 9 inches, 10 inches up on the hose, and that will lock the bag up so the bag's less likely to get tangled up into the wheels. Also, a benefit of getting the TR28P, which is the Pro version that you can get at most independent retail locations like Pool Works, is you do get a second bag. These bags are expensive and you're going to be going through them quite a bit. The benefit of getting the TR28P is you get the Tail Sweep Pro and you get a second bag. So that's almost $100 in value. All right. The screw right here regulates flow into the tail. Now, if you can thread it in, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, righty less flow, lefty more flow. The more you thread it in, the less flow you get to the tail. So if you have too much action on the tail or it's spraying out too much, you can thread this in and restrict some of that flow. If you're not getting enough action, you can thread it out. Now, this jet, this thrust jet, typically what we find is 10 o'clock position works on most of our pulls. Now that may not be every pull, but playing with the direction of this will adjust how big your sweep circles are as the cleaner is moving about the pool. So like I said, our average pull, we find that the 10 o'clock position works best for us. One of the biggest problems we have with Polaris cleaners or anybody's pressure side cleaners is the tires. Y'all aren't replacing tires when they need to be replaced. And when these tires wear down, the cleaner runs closer to the surface of the plaster or the vinyl or whatever, and we end up wearing the bottom out much, much faster. And on the 280, we have a shaft that runs from here to here. It drives this wheel and this wheel. So if I turn either one of those, that wheel turns. But the tire rubs up against the center wheel rubs up against the back wheel. Therefore, when I turn this one has a drive that runs through that turns this one, but this one rubs against this one and turns it, which rubs against this one and turns it. Now, if your tires start wearing out, you having less surface touching on that, and you'll start getting slippage, and you're not getting the normal drive that you would have by all three wheels turning. versus just these two wheels turning. And tires wearing out, you start wearing out the bottom of the cleaner a lot faster, and once you start busting up into there, now you got bigger problems. Now, notice there's a little bit of movement. I can get a little bit of wiggle. If you get to where you get a lot of wiggle on these wheels, you need to replace the bearings. Inside these wheels, there's 2 bearings in each wheel, one on the inside, one on the outside. These bearings are very important. They make the wheel run true. And if these bearings get wore out, the wheel can start running cockeyed. It can move back and forth on the shaft, and you stop getting the drive that you used to have, and the cleaner just becomes much less efficient, much less effective in your pull. So you can plan on having to replace bearings occasionally. You can plan on having to replace tires occasionally, replacing bags, once in a while a tail float. But here's the thing, y'all. Y'all running your cleaners too much. You may not be guilty. You that's listening around here, you may not be guilty, but many, many people are. This cleaner on the average pull is going to cover the entire pull in an hour, hour and a half. It's going to cover almost every last square inch. And running your cleaners 5, 6, 7 hours a day, all you're doing is wearing your cleaner out. If you vacuum the same spot on your rug 15 times versus vacuuming one time, are you going to notice much of a difference? All you're doing is wearing it out. And the booster pumps that run these cleaners, they cost you about $200 to $400 a year in electricity just to run these cleaners. So the more you run it, the more electricity it's costing you. And all these wear items that we're talking about, the bearings, the tires, you're wearing them out quicker. So you're having to buy more tires, you're having to buy more bearings, you're using more electricity. So don't only run these cleaners what it takes. If you're getting a lot of leaves in your pool and you think you're going to run your cleaner for 6 hours and it's going to do a better job, this bag can only hold so many leaves. Once it's full, you're not picking up any more leaves. You're just rolling over the leaves. So running it just because you're getting a lot of debris isn't really helping you unless you're out there constantly emptying the bag. And then if that's happening, you probably need to get you a Leaf Master and hook up your water hose and clean them up that way. This is not for full pull cleaning. This is help just keep debris picked up on the daily basis, not when you have extreme circumstances. But appreciate y'all. Make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe, and y'all take care.